Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
We are rapidly admitting people in the waiting room. We'll get going in just a moment.
Or anything like that, that would be good for the students to use. But that snowman, which is kind of like a hangman type game.
External.
Where's my tournament bracket?
Is it current students?
What are you talking about, currency?
Huh?
Well, no, you can go, faculty, no, it's faculty and staff. So click there,
As a video,
UWG,
so the roof and
faculty and staff. Click on, and you have to log in. I've already logged in. And then you click on external, and it's right there.
Wait a minute, go back.
Okay, let's go through that again. Homepage.
Homepage.
Whoa.
Click on
Log
Matt,
in.
tell me about it. I'm still
Log in.
hungry. I thought you were going to buy no.
Just one USG. I got that. I'm
Sign
there.
in.
I go to my UWG.
Sign in.
Right, Colleen, shall we begin?
I'm ready when you are. I was waiting for President Kelly. Have you let him in? I haven't seen him in the waiting room yet.
We'll just give it another minute then.
I am here. Oh, good. Okay, I'm just gonna, now that we have everyone who is on the agenda to speak, I think we can just open it up. The live stream is running.
Fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday and looking forward to a good weekend. We are one day away from the end of the semester, so congratulations on a successful spring term. We do have a fairly full agenda, so I want to make sure we jump in here and leave adequate time to recognize all of our achievements of our faculty for promotion and tenure, as well as a number of awards. So with that, we'll call the meeting to order, and like to bring up, if we will, or begin the approval of the minutes for the fall 2020 general faculty meeting. Colleen, I believe you got the voting system ready for that.
I do. I'm ready to go.
I'd like to facilitate, so
I'm going to launch. Just gonna give it a little bit longer. We have some people still coming in. All right, I believe it passes. We're at 97% approval.
thank you very much. All right, we'll now begin with the general faculty business session. Turn it over to Dr. Williams.
Well, thank you, Dr. Preston. Yes, one of the purposes of a general faculty meeting is to give the general faculty an opportunity to vote on items that, according to our bylaws, require general faculty approval. The first of these items is actually an announcement of a vote that will take place immediately after this meeting via Qualtrics. So shortly after this meeting, you'll receive an email with a link to a Qualtrics survey offering you the opportunity to vote on the chair-elect of the Faculty Senate. Our nominee for this position is Dr. Jeff Reber from psychology, and we're very grateful for his willingness to serve in this capacity. The Faculty Senate chair-elect will go through a mentoring and training process, as well as full participation in the Faculty Senate during this coming academic year, and then will serve a 2-year term as Faculty Senate chair beginning in the summer/fall of 2022. And that will carry over for 2 years, and then after that, he will serve 1 more year as past chair, where he will be mentoring the next chair to come. So this is an important election. You'll have the opportunity to vote in support of Dr. Reber's nomination, or write in a name of a candidate yourself. The next item on the agenda is modification to the UWG Policies and Procedures Manual for Article 4, Section 2A. This is something that the Faculty Senate approved earlier this semester, and it came through the Rules Committee. It represented months of work, actually, on the part of the Rules Committee, with the effort to take the results of the new faculty census and find an equitable way to allocate Senate representation from every department, school, program, and academic unit on campus. And I think after the months of work, what has resulted is something that has met the approval across the board of various schools, colleges, departments, and it is what we've been using as a blueprint for our Faculty Senate elections this spring. But in order for those new faculty senators to take office, we have to officially approve this. And it's not enough just to have Senate approval, because this is actually a modification of our bylaws. It requires a general faculty vote. And so on behalf of the Faculty Senate, as Faculty Senate Chair, I'm presenting this to the general faculty for a vote. I would like a second for this motion, and after that, I'll open it up for any questions or discussion, and following that, we'll have the vote. So is there a second? You can indicate that in the chat if you want, or
I second it.
yes. Okay, thank you very much. So any questions, comments, discussion regarding this item? Seeing none, I think we're ready to launch the poll.
Give it just a little bit longer.
Okay.
We're not quite at 30 seconds yet. All right, I'm gonna close it at 90% approval.
Excellent. So the motion passes. Our bylaws will be modified accordingly, and Faculty Senate business will be able to proceed during the coming academic year with the new senators who will be elected this spring. So thank you very much. I'm now going to turn things over to Dr. Angela Pasha and Dr. Tim Schroer to talk about the UWG General Education Redesign Committee's work this semester. And I believe that ends my role here in the general faculty meeting. So I'm going to mute my microphone, turn off my video, and sit back and continue to participate in the meeting.
So before COVID, the university system office was working on a redesign of the core curriculum guidelines that we need to work within. And that has been delayed by COVID, but we do expect that to get rolling again. So the committee convened at UWG to work on figuring out how to implement that here. Has been working this year to figure out what kind of progress we can make and be real thoughtful about this process instead of rushing through it like it felt like we were going to have to with the original timeline. So as of right now, I'm sharing a link in the chat with a site that has some more information, including the list of committee members and meeting minutes. Our focus right now is working on a faculty institute over the summer to get conversations started and plan on events, possibly monthly events through the next academic year to get as much faculty engagement in this as possible. So please do keep an eye out for emails inviting participation, and I hope everyone gets involved. Please feel free to reach out to me or Tim or any of the other members of the committee if you have any questions or feedback in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pasha. Thank you, Dr. Schroer. That's important work. And even though the USG might be paused for now on that Gen Ed redesign, that's an important conversation that we as a university can be having to position us well, just as your group is doing. So thank you for your important work there. All right, I will turn the meeting over to President Kelly for his welcome and address to the faculty.
I appreciate that, Dr. Preston. Thank you. I thank all of you. As I was a professor, the end of an academic year was one of the great accomplishments of the year, a cathartic moment, regardless of the circumstances of the academic year. For this particular one, I think everybody is owed a new thank you. There were a lot of circumstances to overcome and work through and adapt to over the course of this year. Not the least of which, I think back a year ago, all of us were trying to figure out how to just shift our entire enterprise online. And well, we had been talking about that for a long time. The act of talking about it and the act of doing it are two different things. The type of resilience that people have demonstrated over the course of the last year is exceptional. Thank you for your service. But that resilience isn't the only thing we have to celebrate. You know, we have adapted on a lot of fronts over the course of the last year, and that adaptation is something that we should be celebrating too, because the accomplishments of students didn't go away. You know, somehow we were able to figure out how to make live theater into films so that we could still experience them, and most importantly, so that students could still get the opportunity to participate on that front, to create shows and to live up to the promise of that theater education. We didn't stop singing despite the fact that there were masks. Having a chance to attend choral concerts and chamber singers was fantastic. Not having a live audience diminishes that experience a little bit, but our hope is that we're able to bring together those experiences for students. And even a week ago, when we got to attend that chamber music or the chamber singers and choir concert with a limited audience, when they recognized students who were graduating, the intimacy, the connectedness to those experiences was put on display. We've adapted to a lot of things and still focused in on providing those experiences and creating those outcomes. We have a lot to celebrate on that front. We have a fantastic student show coming out of visual art. We get to celebrate a Gulf South championship for women's golf. We just brought home 2 national championships for UW cheerleading. That's number 26 and 27 in 20 years. That's astounding. That teaches the pursuit of excellence in special ways and in a special community. And those sub-communities, from my perspective, are a lot of the glue. They're a lot of the glue that make college what it is, that make a university community what it is for students. And us staying focused on those important experiences and the skills and abilities that were drawn from them, despite the fact that we were challenged by having to do things differently, is a testament to a lot of accomplishment this year. Those experiences in many ways are a big reason why students are here and why they stay here. And us focusing in on the value matters. And quite frankly, that's been a story of a lot of the year. The landscape has changed so much. I spend a considerable amount of my time, especially over the last year, with professional associations and other presidents across the country, trying to understand the landscape of higher education, which has shifted dramatically. Everybody doesn't experience that quite the same way. The Association of Governing Boards most recently brought out a statement and is hosting an event that tries to sum that up as much as possible. And they said, higher education is under assault. Macro forces were already disrupting business models, funding, and operations across our public education institutions and statewide systems before COVID-19 struck. COVID-19 has amplified every challenge, but AGB says has also opened up the opportunities for significant transformation. And running toward that transformation is critical for all of us because it is a landscape of great change. And maybe one of the things that we learned most this year is what the world was interested in. I've said before, when the pandemic started, there's a wonderful quotation that came out that said, before we rush back to normal, let's figure out which parts of normal we want to rush back to. And one of the things that was put on display, and I said it in our employee recognition earlier today, maybe our philosophy changed. Maybe it was shifted so that we understood the importance of creating value for others, creating values for communities and economies, and certainly in the lives of students. Maybe we shifted from a look at what we're doing to what can I do for you philosophy. And for public higher education, that gives us staying power over time. I'd also share with you that this is a team sport, that as much as we live inside of the confines of the University of West Georgia, public higher education in Georgia is certainly one that faculty and staff and administrations are participating in the creation of. But just as important, we have to remember that the Board of Regents and legislators and many other influencers are keenly interested in what we are producing as a sector in relationship to this state and the value that we're creating for students and living up to the investments that they are making in higher education. I'm going to share with you some of the priorities that I know sit with the Board of Regents right now and that they're expecting of us over the course of the next year. The first and foremost is a return to as normal an operation as possible for the fall semester, trying desperately to get back to a place that nurtures the development of human beings. Now, we know there's going to be some challenges associated with that, but for the Board of Regents, that's a key component. Just as much as getting vaccines into human beings. Shots in arms is a huge priority. We have delivered almost 3,000 vaccines on campus to employees and to students. And we've had a surprisingly positive response from students rushing to get that vaccine. That's a key component to us being able to open up society and to forage forward. And I would encourage all of you, if you haven't been vaccinated, please consider doing so. And we're certainly here to help make that happen. There's a group of presidents that the Board of Regents and the Chancellor have assembled along with a few USG administrators that are working through protocols, just like last year, that will be applied to all 26 institutions in the USG. We don't have an update on that front right now. Just like I can't give you an update on the Chancellor's search right now, but that's also a priority for the Board of Regents, as I know all of you know. But the final priority for the Board of Regents, and I say this because it's the thing that they are shaping policy around. They're measuring our performance by, and it's certainly shaping our work. That's maximizing impact and outcomes related to resources. When we say impact and outcomes from their perspective, that very much means what's happening with students, what happens after they graduate, what's happening while they are in school, whether at the doctoral level or undergraduate, what types of experiences are we providing so that we instill knowledge, skills, and abilities that are going to create a better Georgia. And I'm using the type of language that they've shared with me. That focus on outcomes is not just one that's unique to the University of West Georgia. It is the call of our governing board, and that governing board is a critical piece for us to pay attention to because it does guide our work. In service to that, over the next 12 months, we need to be focusing in on those priorities. Over the last few weeks, we've laid out a number of things that we'll engage in. First and foremost, we're leaning into trying to evolve the agenda related to diversity, equity, and inclusion as it relates to the University of West Georgia. I've assembled a team, a seamless integration team, hoping to live up to the call of the strategic plan to seamlessly integrate diversity, equity, and inclusion into all institutional actions. Let's use equity as the lens through which we do our work. That team, a cross-divisional team of faculty and staff, will make recommendations to myself and other executives in the hope that we can create a safer, richer community. Public university is a place where everyone should feel welcome. They should also feel safe and valued, and that's what we will strive for. Additionally, I've created, along with a group of alumni, President's Community Advisory Council. That gives us an accountability structure. So it's important for us to go through and take steps in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but having an accountability structure driven by those who have been part of this university and carry with it as part of their identity, their credential, their association with this university is important to me. That group, made up primarily of alumni who engage in that work or related work in a wide variety of different professions, will be in place to help hold us accountable, to make certain that we're reporting up to them and seeing if we're living up to best standards that exist not just in higher education, but in other industries as well. Additionally, we'll be leaning into building an integrative wellness framework. I'll tell you that for me, mental health, physical health, well-being are critical pieces to work in life. And while we have not done everything that we could have at any point in my career in higher education related to each of those things, the last year has certainly put a spotlight on how important those elements are to human existence and to great communities. We've got a core of expertise that exists in this university community that I believe can create value internally for students and for employees, but just as importantly, to enhance the quality of life that exists in this region, to enhance public health outcomes, and more importantly, maybe practices and habits that influence people's lives so greatly. We'll focus on aligning resources to desired outcomes. That's certainly the charge from the Board of Regents. There's a microscope on how we use every resource, physical resources, dollars, time, personnel. All of those demands that a university has are also under a microscope from our governing board, as they should be. We should be able to live up to the promise of producing the best possible outcomes we can, given the resources that we have to work with. We have to make significantly more investments in professional development. That's one of the major things that people missed. As a faculty member, I think one of the things that you shape your world around is being able to go and consult with colleagues. 1 year without a lot of travel, without conferences, without consultation is it destabilizes a lot of our knowledge flows. I know for Dr. Preston and myself, getting back and making investments in those areas that go beyond the investment thresholds that were being made in those areas are critical for us. That includes leadership training, but more importantly, it's investments in disciplinary professional development that helps to advance academic programs at the University of West Georgia. And that will be coupled with program analysis. One of the things that we're doing as a response to the Board of Regents is making certain that we're looking at all of our activities, that we're looking at every program we have, and not program in any formal sense, program in terms of where are people and dollars and time, and is that creating the maximum value for those we're in service to? That's something that we should be regularly doing, a deep dive every 5 years, but certainly annually, we should be scrutinizing what we're investing in and why. And if we're doing the wrong things, let's go in a different direction. 21st century isn't going to allow us to be stuck in the mud because there's too many other competitors out in our marketplace that are trying very intentionally to get ahead of us. And finally, a focus next year, a focus over the next 12 months on creating connections with communities and with industry so that we can demonstrate the value. I've had conversations with a number of you over the last few weeks. That's one of the challenges that I certainly face as president as I work externally so often, is articulating the value proposition when there are so many counter arguments, and those counter arguments are often misinformed. We have to make certain that we're speaking the language of those we're in service to, so that they don't have to figure out what the value of college is or graduate school, or what the positive impact of a public university is, and how essential it is to be a foundational part of our communities, to our way of life. And quite frankly, at a time when so many public institutions are challenged of the society we live in this nation, we need to help those answers roll off the tips of everybody else's tongue. That's going to take some education, but also intentionality. Us making certain that we're always talking about value and how that value is created, and then holding ourselves accountable for making certain that we accomplish those outcomes. That, coupled with a focus on enrollment, because I know at the University of West Georgia, we've been through some challenging times in terms of enrollment over the last couple of years. Those challenging times are not going to go away in an atmosphere where the enrollment cliff of 2026 showed up in 2020. We've got work to do on that front, and we're going to lean into making certain that we put ourselves in a position to be competitive, and that we have as many students as want the opportunity to come to the University of West Georgia to have their lives shaped by it as we possibly can. Growth, service to students, and making certain that we're focused on creating outcomes and value for others certainly defines our course over the coming year or so. I'm grateful for all of the work that everybody has done this year. I'm so sad so much of it has had to be done on Zoom, but that hasn't diminished too many of the outcomes that have been created for students. Thank you all so much for your work, your time, your energy and investment, your service. And with that, I will hand it back to Dr. Preston.
Thank you, President Kelly. I'm going to echo many of the points that President Kelly just made. First and foremost, to say thank you for all of the work you've done in creating an outstanding semester for our students. It has not been an easy semester, but you all have met the challenge and done extraordinary work to meet students' needs both inside and outside the classroom. So I'd like to take some time before we get to the last agenda item, and that is focusing on celebrating various awards as well as promotion and tenure for our faculty, and talk about some of the work that each of the areas across academic affairs has participated in this semester. I think it's important to pause and reflect and celebrate that even though COVID and the challenges that we're facing have pulled us in different directions and maybe made some of our work more difficult or having to go in different directions, all of the areas across academic affairs and the faculty and the staff have continued to create amazing experiences for our students, as well as really serve the external communities that we're in partnership with. I'd like to begin that discussion by reflecting on a conversation I had with Avery Anderson yesterday. Avery is a student, a dual major student in Richards College of Business, and he tells me his story that he fell in love with West Georgia years ago when he toured and knew that this was the place for him, that he could just sense that. He looked at a number of institutions across the state, and when he came to campus, he knew that this was his place. He got connected in Greek life, in Blue Coats, in various student organizations, and he tells me that he probably knows more of the faculty than he does his peer students, because he just had this incredible connection with the faculty. I think Avery's story captures why we all believe in higher education. To President Kelly's question of the value of higher education, the relationships and the impact that faculty make on students' lives, and certainly that Avery experienced. He will be graduating this December and plans on returning for graduate studies here at West Georgia. And he also shared with me that he intends on establishing a scholarship in the future, which I thought was absolutely amazing, that this student is looking at investing in the future and making sure that his institution, and I say that intentionally, it's his institution, remains strong and vibrant. And so in all of these stories that we're discussing today, they're all because you all are having impact on communities and individuals. And that's really the heart of what we're doing in academic affairs. Very clearly, COVID has presented challenges, and the Tanner Health System School of Nursing has risen to the challenge, not only in our pod here on campus, but also in various sites across our community. Over 20,000 vaccines delivered this spring in 17 different sites, faculty and staff, and over 100 students contributing to those administering those vaccines. So that is a tremendous service that our college, our School of Nursing, has done. Also locally, College of Arts and Culture and Scientific Inquiry hosted the virtual West Georgia Regional Science and Engineering Fair for students in Carroll and Douglas County. In a time where we might say, let's just put this on pause, CACSE and the faculty there figured out a way to host a virtual science fair. And we've done that in a number of ways. CACSE also hosted the first virtual biennial conference for the Society of Early Americanists. Over 500 participants from 9 different countries, and finding ways of overcoming the challenges we have and creating that new next, that new normal. The library recently was selected by the American Library Association for the 2021 Innovation and Instruction Award for the Library Den. This is a literacy course built to meet instructional needs during this COVID pandemic and was utilized in over 21 courses in fall of this past semester. So continuing to have a tremendous impact and recognition, not only locally, but also nationally. But we're not content there. West Georgia also goes beyond. In the Richards College of Business, they've connected and utilized connections with West Georgia alumni and businesses to create a virtual study abroad experience this term. Study abroad has been very, very different, but that idea of global competency and cultural competency is important to our students. And so Richards College of Business faculty figured out a way to work with their connections across the world to create that virtual study abroad experience for their students. Not content just to pause, but to move forward on this. In mass communication, speaking internationally, we've got a connection in Rwanda. And Dr. Hester's working with the Rwandan Ministry of Education to provide new civics curriculum as part of their core for all students in 10th and 11th and 12th grade. Also working with the Jamaica Association for Debating and Empowerment to train the trainer and have a global impact. So we tell that to our students that you can have a global impact, you can change the world, and our faculty are doing just that. We recently celebrated the Scholars Day on April 6th in the Honors College and showcasing the undergraduate research, the faculty mentorship and guiding the students, and the phenomenal work that you all are enabling. And I celebrate that with you. Center for Teaching and Learning, right, connecting us to USG workshops this summer and helping us to find ways of integrating high impact practices and best practices in our online and hybrid classes. Focusing on momentum, the USG Momentum Summit hosted a number of weeks ago. We had over 60 people from across West Georgia participate in that, and focusing on high impact practices and expanding student access to these HIPs, aligning program maps to HIPs and co-curricular options. And we're setting ourselves up in this upcoming year. President Kelly spoke about where we're going, not just celebrating where we've been, but setting ourselves up for success. So Drs. Jordan and Drake have been working on a post-graduation outcomes working group, looking at how do we take program maps and add co-curricular options. So students know in their first, second, third, fourth years, not only here are the courses you should be taking, but here are the things that are going to help you have a very rich and successful academic experience inside and outside the classroom. So that's just a sample of some of the wonderful work that you all have been doing. And I wanted to pause and celebrate that with our time here in the general faculty meeting. Looking forward, as President Kelly mentioned, we need to be responsive to market and industry demands. A couple of examples of that: Dr. Camilla Gant is working in Douglasville with Superintendent Trent North. Superintendent North's vision is to have 1,000 students in dual enrollment coming out of Douglas County in the near future. And we as a partner in that community should be the go-to university for those students. This helps increase access and affordability for higher education in an era and an age where we're being asked to do more and to serve students. This is a fantastic way of helping meet capacity needs in Douglas County, as well as setting those students up to get a taste of West Georgia and say, absolutely, you are my destination institution, just like Avery Adamson did. Furthermore, in Newnan, working with Superintendent Evan Horton and the devastation that Newnan faced a number of weeks ago. So opening up our Newnan campus and helping that community by providing space not only for their education needs, but also after school space for the Boys and Girls Clubs there in Newnan. It's that kind of partnership that we have a community and a fantastic community, and then spreading that out as broadly as possible. Looking into the future, President Kelly mentioned the strategic planning and focusing on the relevance, competitiveness, and placemaking. And academic affairs is certainly very focused on that. So taking the scorecards and implementing that locally within each college, school, and unit in academic affairs, establishing blueprints. These are action items of what are we going to do to help improve and do continuous improvement across the university. and doing 90-day sprints. So your deans and your academic leaders will be communicating that in detail, but part of that involves this comprehensive analysis of programs, looking at where do we stand using baseline data relative to our peers and our aspirants. And that's going to lead us into fall and spring semester this upcoming academic year for faculty-driven discussions on the future of our academic programs. How do we make sure that they are continuous in making sure they're current, and that what we're using in the strategies and the content are world-class and help establish and make sure that those students want to choose West Georgia as their number one go-to place. So again, I thank you for all of the work that you've done this semester for an amazing spring. And at this point, we will turn it over for our recognition of faculty and departments. We're going to begin that by, I'm going to share my screen. Looks like I have to set a systems preference here.
Dr. Preston, I have it ready if you'd like me to go ahead and do that while you're playing with the system settings.
I think I've got it. Let me give it a go one more time. Oh, I'm going to need your assistance because I'm going to have to reboot the computer, and that's not going to work.
Okay. All right. I'll take over from here then.
Thank you, Rod.
No problem. All right, so you should see the awards and nominees screen, I hope. And so thank you, Dr. Preston. I am, on behalf of the Center for Teaching and Learning and the Provost Office, I'm rather pleased to shine light on some of the faculty successes throughout this academic year. First, the Regents Teaching Excellence Awards nominees from UWG. The following colleagues were selected by UWG's Regents Awards Review Committee to represent the university at the state level Board of Regents Teaching Awards, because of their exceptional teaching and strong commitment to enriching enriching student learning and fostering academic success. For the Felton Jenkins Jr. Hall of Fame Faculty Award, Dr. Bethany Scullen, Assistant Professor in the Department of Literacy and Special Education in the College of Education, who earned her selection through her focus on creating authentic communities of learning through discussions of literacy strategies and diverse selections of texts. For the Regents Teaching Excellence Award for Online Teaching, Dr. Robert Griffin, Assistant Professor in the Department of Literacy and Special Education in the College of Education, who secured his selection by his steady commitment to continuous improvement in his online course design and delivery. Next, the Governor's Teaching Fellows Program, providing Georgia higher education faculty with expanded opportunities for enhancing effective teaching skills. The Governor's Teaching Fellows Programs has two events each year: their Summer Symposium Program and the Academic Year Symposia Program. For several years, faculty from UWG have often been selected to participate in either program. The latest faculty member to represent UWG is Dr. Andrea Smith, Assistant Professor in the Department of Early Childhood through Secondary Education in the College of Education, who was chosen for the Academic Year Program because of how she guides her students to become self-motivated learners and remain curious about the real-world implications of the expanding nature of education at all levels and its connections to homes and communities. And finally, the Chancellor's Learning Scholars. The following faculty members have been working with their faculty colleagues to explore important topics through faculty learning communities. With the topic Social and Emotional Learning, Jennifer Hydorn, lecturer in the Department of Sport Management, Wellness and Physical Education, the College of Education. With the topic Mindfulness and Reflective Practices in a Diverse Learning Environment, Laura McCloskey-Wolf, instructor in the Department of Art, History and Philosophy and the College of Arts, Culture and Scientific Inquiry. With the topic Capstones as a High Impact Practice, Bridget Stewart, senior lecturer in the Department of Sport Management, Wellness and Physical Education in the College of Education. And with the topic Universal Design for Learning, Making Your Teaching Accessible for All, Dr. Rachel Tallis, Assistant Professor in Department of Literacy and Special Education in the College of Education. And finally, with the topic Engaging the Online Learner, Dr. Agnieszka Fialkowska, Assistant Professor in the Department of Marketing and Real Estate in the Richards College of Business. Thank you all for your excellent work across this academic year and well beyond. Dr. Preston, I pass the mic figuratively back to you.
Thank you, Dr. McCrae. And congratulations to everyone. That's fantastic. Well done and well deserved. All right. So I'm going to need some technological help yet again. Dr. Vasconcelos, can you do your screen share and
Yep.
advance the slides?
I'm on it.
Thank you. I'm going to turn the mic over to each of the academic leaders in the various colleges and schools to congratulate and give us a brief background on each of our folks who have been promoted and tenured for this year. First up, for the College of Arts, Culture, and Scientific Inquiry, Dr. Pauline Gagnon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm delighted to speak about our exceptional CACSE faculty who have achieved promotion and or tenure this year. Promoted to professor, this category, Louis Baumstark. He joined UWG in 2005. He teaches courses on computer science, software engineering, software development, and in his time at UWG, he has successfully developed 5 courses, 3 at the graduate level and 2 at the undergraduate level. Joshua Bird joined the UWG faculty in 2011. He teaches courses on music appreciation, wind ensemble, instrumental methods and materials, and orchestration and arranging. He is the director of bands as well as the UWG Wind Ensemble. Lisa Connell joined the UWG faculty in 2010, and she teaches courses in both elementary and intermediate French, contemporary French literature, and topics in French culture. Not only has she directed and co-directed successful study abroad programs in Tours, France, but she has also successfully co-wrote and implemented a textbook transformation grant that drastically reduced costs for the hundreds of students. Yvonne Fiente joined the faculty in 2012. She teaches courses in elementary and intermediate Spanish, introduction to Hispanic literature, and Spanish culture and civilization. In her years at UWG, she has directed both the ILC's annual interdisciplinary conference in the humanities and its Luso-Hispanic Day, an important mainstay of the program's community outreach efforts. Christopher Jett joined UWG in 2009. He teaches courses on quantitative skills and reasoning, college algebra, foundations of numbers and operations. He also works with the College of Education to design curriculum materials for elementary mathematics teachers in Atlanta Public Schools. And he has worked on a systematic review of children's literature within the context of mathematics. Melissa Johnson joined UWG in 2009. She teaches courses on cell and molecular biology, human physiology, vertebra histology, and neuroscience. In addition to serving as the biology graduate program coordinator, she has used her certification as a UWG online course developer to assist her biology colleagues in developing online courses, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Laura Miller joined UWG in 2011. She teaches courses in world literature, literature by women, and 18th century British literature. Her work is innovative and collaborative, and having recently co-taught a course with a colleague in biology, she's developing a course on critical race pedagogy with a colleague at Howard University. Motisa Mitra joined the UWG faculty in 2019. She now teaches courses in advanced molecular biology, polymer chemistry, and biological perspectives. She collaborates with many area schools and serves as the chair for the Georgia Governor's Honors Program. Sarah Molesworth Kenyon joined the UWG biology faculty in 2007. She teaches courses on microbiology, immunology, virology, and emerging pathogens. In collaboration with William Kenyon, she developed and implemented the Microbiology Certificate Program, which has become a very popular program among our biology students. Cale Self joined the UWG faculty in 2009. He teaches courses in symphony band, applied conducting, applied low brass, and marching band. He is the director of the UWG Brass Ensemble and Symphonic Band and is in charge of the UWG Marching Band and Basketball Band. Kristen Simmons Moore joined the UWG Psychology faculty in 2011. She teaches courses in parapsychology, qualitative research methods, and personality theories. She has participated in offering study abroad opportunities to her students and has also organized the program's Student Psychology Research Conference and that popular Bill Rowe Forum. Kathleen Scott Meyer joined the UWG faculty in 2011. She teaches courses in abnormal psychology, feminist psychology, and multicultural counseling. In her time at UWG, she has served as chair and committee member for several dissertations and has mentored several of her students in the publication of their own books, book chapters, and articles. Gary Van Valen joined UWG history faculty in 2004. He teaches on colonial Latin America, U.S. Latin American relations, and he recently collaborated with a colleague, Ann McCleary, to lead a study away trip in New Mexico, where students were able to experience Old West history where it happened. In the grouping under tenured and promoted to associate professor, Marian Buzan joined UWG in 2016. She teaches courses on physical geology, mineralogy, and crystallography, and medical geology. Her students enjoy experiential learning opportunities through her Geosciences Club field trips. Ryan Currier joined the UWG faculty in 2019. He teaches courses on geosciences, and he is currently the chair of the West Georgia Microscopy Center and has developed new laboratory exercises for his courses using the geology program's scanning electron microscope. Corey Maggioni joined UWG in 2015. He currently teaches on physical anthropology field methods, genes, and human osteology. He is the director of the Biological and Forensic Anthropology Lab, known as BAFL, where he provides students experiential learning and analytical research opportunities. John Morris joined UWG in 2015. He teaches advanced photography, digital media for artists, introduction to photography, and image and narrative. He also maintains an active social media presence and blog that are effective recruitment tools for the art program. Nathan Rees joined UWG in 2016. He teaches History of Western Art 1 and 2 and Art of the Italian Renaissance and 18th and 19th century art. He has been instrumental in easing the financial burden of art students by creating a compilation of open access materials to supplement the Art 2202 curriculum. Our tenured faculty include John Garner, who joined UWG in 2014. He teaches courses in critical thinking, modern philosophy, and philosophy of religion. In addition to his excellent work in mentoring graduate students and his community engagement, he edits the philosophy program's newsletter and advises the student group, the West Georgia Philosophical Society. And Jason Swift, who joined UWG in 2018, teaches courses in oral communication, visual art, art for pre-K and special populations, and elementary and secondary art methods. He regularly organizes collaborative art education events involving current and prospective UWG students and actively participates in community outreach. And finally, promoted to senior lecturer, Isabel Maggioni joined UWG in 2015. She teaches Faces of Culture, Introduction to Physical Anthropology, and is currently serving as the Anthropology Program Coordinator. She was recently awarded a $10,000 textbook transformation grant to aid in the instruction of Introduction to Physical Anthropology courses. We applaud all our recipients of these promotions and tenure. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Gagnon, and congratulations to everyone. Next, for the College of Education, Dr. Brent Heidorn.
Thank you, Dr. Preston. For the category of promotion to professor, this includes Dr. Brian Mosier, faculty member and department chair of sport management, wellness, and physical education. He's completing his 11th year at the University of West Georgia. His primary areas of expertise include the promotion of physical activity in schools, effective teaching and supervision, and online learning in physical education. Brian is recognized at the local, state, and national levels for his service contributions, scholarship, and school-based leadership opportunities. And also to professor is Dr. Laura Willocks, faculty member and department chair of educational technology and foundations. She has been at UWG for 10 years. As a social studies scholar, she focuses her research agenda on social studies education, transformative education, and the inclusion of LGBTQ topics in teacher preparation and K-12 schools. She has been active in diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at UWG for many years. For the category of tenure and promotion to associate professor, we include Dr. Jennifer Allen, who is completing her 5th year as a faculty member in the Department of Literacy and Special Education. Her main professional interests of areas of interest include writing pedagogy, culturally and linguistically diverse learners, and university school partnerships. Jennifer enjoys teaching site-based literacy courses at the local elementary schools and serving in her roles as co-director of the Cherokee Rose Writing Project and as the chapter advisor for the Omicron Omega chapter of the International Education Honor Society, Kappa Delta Pi. Next is Dr. Morris Council III, who serves on the faculty in the Department of Literacy and Special Education. His research, teaching, and service are conducted through a paradigm of equity and access. Throughout Morris's tenure, he has built a reputation nationally and locally through his work focused on developing pathways to and through post-secondary opportunities. And finally, from the College of Education, tenured and promoted to associate professor is Dr. Jarius Joaquin Matthews, faculty member in the Department of Counseling, Higher Education, and Speech Language Pathology, who has been at West Georgia since 2014. His research interests are related to culturally responsive assessment, teaching, mentoring, and programming. He teaches courses in assessment and communication disorders, counseling and communication disorders, voice disorders, and cultural and linguistic diversity. Thank you, Dr. Preston.
Thanks, Dr. Hardon. All right, for the Ingram Library, Lynn Olivieri.
Hello, happy Friday and happy wrapping up spring semester. I'm delighted to talk to you today about who has been promoted to professor. Angela Pasha co-edited a book on critical approaches to credit-bearing information literary courses, published in 2019, and is currently co-editing a book on using open educational resources to support social justice. Around campus, Angela served as a faculty senator for the past 3 years and currently co-chairs the UWG General Education Redesign Committee. Also promoted to professor is Craig Schroer, who serves as head of public services and systems librarian at Ingram Library and will celebrate his 10th year at UWG this June. Due to his national and international reputation, he is regularly invited to speak at conferences on the topic of media and information literacy. You might know him from his roles on campus in Faculty Senate AAUP and PCCI, or around the Carrollton community through Carrollton Jazz Orchestra or Empty Bowls. Thank you all.
Thank you. And for the Richards College of Business, we have Dr. Brad Prince.
Thank you, Dr. Preston. First in the category of promotion to professor, we have Dr. Kim Green. Dr. Green goes above and beyond as a teacher. She often supports our students in extracurricular work that is not part of her teaching load, and she helped a group of students preparing for a trip to India recently. Her research is exceptional, with 16 journal articles published, 6 of which were in the last 5 years and 1 that was an A-level publication. She has 5 conference proceedings and more than 24 conference presentations. Dr. Green has served in all capacities at the department, college, and university, and community, and she's a valued part of our college. Congratulations, Kim. Dr. David Nickel. David has demonstrated a commitment to continuous improvement in the classroom as he constantly modifies his courses to keep up with an ever-evolving discipline. His research is exceptional, with 13 journal articles, 5 of which were during the last 5 years, 9 conference proceedings, 1 book chapter, and numerous presentations. His service is also noteworthy within the department, college, university, and community, with a special note to his work in data and analytics for the MBA program and for university admissions. Congratulations, David. Dr. Susan Webb. Susan is a dedicated teacher, developing not just curriculum in her courses, but service learning projects to deeply engage her students. Recently, she was selected as a fellow in the Georgia Governor's Teaching Fellows Program. Dr. Webb's research is exceptional, with 17 journal articles, 12 of which were within the last 5 years, 2 professional publications, and more than 50 conference and professional development presentations. Dr. Webb's service is appreciated at the department, college, university, and within the community. Congratulations, Susan. Tenured and promoted to associate professor, Dr. Yun Ching. Dr. Ching teaches accounting, which is a subject almost universally considered to be difficult. She strives to be as effective as possible and attends many workshops and conferences, learning how to best reach her students, who often give her strong evaluations and positive comments. Dr. Ching has 7 publications, including 1 in Financial Times, which is a top 25 journal. Dr. Ching's service record includes a department, college, faculty senate, and accreditation activities. Congratulations, Yoon. And finally, the category promoted to senior lecturer. First, Dr. Heather Bono. Heather is an excellent teacher, and her students have nominated her for UWG's inaugural Advisor of the Semester Award. She served on a number of department, college, and university committees. Of note was her service in the Innovations in Pedagogy Planning Team. Though not required for lecturers, Dr. Bono has 5 journal articles and numerous conference presentations. Congratulations, Heather. And finally, Ken Hilderhoff. Ken's dedication to teaching and sharing from his experiences shows by the comments that he receives from his students. His service to the university starts with advisor to the marketing club, but it also extends to the Senate committees that he serves on as well. Consistent with a professionally qualified faculty member, Ken has remained an active consultant for a number of businesses, nonprofits, and individuals. Congratulations, Ken. Congratulations, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Preston.
Thanks, Dr. Prince. Congratulations. For the Tanner Health System School of Nursing, Dr. Jenny Schuessler.
Thank you, Dr. Preston. Good afternoon, colleagues. From the School of Nursing, promoted to professor is Dr. Susan Welch. Dr. Welch's impact as former EDD program director and current associate dean for graduate programs has been profound. She's a transformational leader in the School of Nursing, always thinking about how to support faculty and the preferred future for the school. Dr. Welch is active in professional service at the national level and is recognized internationally as an expert in curriculum development and program evaluation, mentoring, and faculty development, and the scholarship of teaching and learning. Dr. Laura Carmonica was promoted to professor and tenured. Her primary teaching focus is in the MSN Health Systems Leader Track, where she applies her experience as a healthcare leader and mentoring MSN students. It is noteworthy that in the 5 years on faculty at UWG, 2 of her students have received prestigious national recognition for their work with her. Further, she is recognized nationally as an expert in evidence-based practice, leadership and management, and improving patient outcomes. And finally, Dr. Sally Richter, promoted to associate professor and tenure, joined the faculty in 2015 and served in the role of MSN director from 2016 to 2020. During that time, she led in faculty development by increasing rigor and consistency across all tracks in the practicum courses through improvement of the capstone projects and refinement of clinical activities. Dr. Richter's leadership in the Nurse Faculty Loan Program and Interprofessional Education Initiative have had a tremendous impact in the School of Nursing. Congratulations, Susan, Laura, and Sally.
Thank you, Dean Schuessler. Congratulations to all. And for the University College, Dr. Meg Pearson.
Hello all. ABC order is tough, but we'll do it. Okay. First professors, we have Dr. Vanessa Griffin of Criminology. Vanessa currently serves as one of the associate deans in University College. She has published widely on topics ranging from campus crime to sexual offending to the effects of race on victimization and offending. She loves working on research with students as well as teaching theory, ethics, and research methods. Dr. Suho Lee from Political Science. Under his leadership as director of the Masters in Public Administration, the program has more than doubled since 2017 and has been successfully accredited. Suho is also actively involved in leadership teams of the professional societies in public administration and the local nonprofit organizations. Dr. Paul Rutledge from Political Science. Paul is chair of the Department of Civic Engagement and Public Service and teaches courses in American politics, public policy, and public administration. Paul co-edited a forthcoming volume with Dr. Chapman Rackaway entitled The Unorthodox Presidency of Donald J. Trump, which will be released this summer from University of Kansas Press. He also wrangles 5 sons at home, ages 1 to 14, which he calls his most notable achievement. Tenured and promoted, Dr. Abigail Kolb from Criminology. Abby brings her experience from the field into the classroom to help students see the connection between the material and their future careers. She is currently involved in developing a program on campus to prepare currently incarcerated men and women for their successful re-entry into society. Dr. Brittany McNeil, Criminology. Her main research interest is corrections with a focus on correctional programming, policy, and recidivism. But what she loves to do is teach statistics. She lets all her students, colleagues, and even her neighbors know that she lives and breathes statistical analytics and data management. This is the same thing she wants her students to somewhat feel after they complete her course. and Dr. Karen Owen from Political Science. Karen teaches and researches in the field of American politics, especially women in politics and legislative politics. I said politics too many times. In February, her co-authored book, Special Elections, Backdoor Entrance to Congress, was published by Oxford University Press. She is currently vice president of the Georgia Political Science Association and the director of the Murphy Center for Public Service on campus. Promoted to associate, Dr. Patrick Brady. Since joining the criminology program in 2017, Patrick has published 14 peer-reviewed articles, secured nearly $40,000 in external funding, and received national recognition with the New Scholar Award from the Academy of Criminal Justice Sciences Victimology section. Dr. Dylan McLean. Dylan teaches courses on American and international politics. His research focuses on the interaction between political culture and public policy, particularly gun control policy. Dylan also regularly takes students on an educational and professional networking trip to Washington, D.C. And finally, promoted to senior lecturer, Mr. James Bellin from General Education. Mr. Bellin has been at West Georgia close to 20 years and has taught all of the first-year mathematical courses. He is also a huge presence at the long-running Math Day program on campus. Ms. Jade Loicano from General Education. Ms. Loicano is a wildly popular teacher in first-year writing who has been awarded Faculty Member of the Year in recent years by the West Georgia Student Government Association. And that is all of us. Congratulations to all.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Congratulations to all of the faculty who were promoted and tenured. Thank you, and congratulations to those who were award nominees and Fellows Program awards, as well as Learning Scholars nominees. So fantastic work all. This brings us to the end of the Spring General Faculty Meeting. I will conclude by saying I wish you all well this weekend. Hope you enjoy that last day of the instruction on Monday and reading day on Tuesday, as well as final exams. Good luck with all of the grading and finishing the projects. Again, thank you for the amazing work you do in mentoring and guiding and leading and delivering content within your classes for students. And I look forward to seeing you all, if not before then, on commencement in 2 weeks from tomorrow, as we celebrate that next group of students. So congratulations all. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful evening.